You're watching Must Do Travels, and this is our Paris travel guide. Be sure to join our travel club at club.mustdotravels.com to get access to our exclusive deals and member-only pricing. The city of Paris earned its nickname the City of Light, which is an intellectual reference from the Age of Enlightenment, which took place from 1685 to 1815, and not because of some fancy electric light bulbs like so many people mistakenly think today. Did you know that Paris is one of the most popular travel destinations in the entire world, and more than 40 million people travel there each year, but that number has been growing. Like many other European metropolitan areas, Paris has a robust public transportation system, which is great if you need to travel long distances to get from point A to point B. But since the city is so densely packed near the river's edge, you'll find that many of the best attractions in and around town are lumped closely together within a reasonable walking distance. So be sure to just plan out your day's journey accordingly to maximize your time at each location you want to visit. Some say that Paris is the city of love, but you have to keep in mind that it's also a really strange place where even its cemeteries and catacombs have become tourist attractions. The opulence of some of the French burial plots are sometimes wonders to behold in and of themselves, and people pay homage to some of the most famous people that are buried here in Paris's tightly packed cemeteries. Some people of note that are buried here are Jim Morrison, who died of an overdose in a bathtub while in the city, and the famous playwright Oscar Wilde, who died of meningitis while in Paris. There's also the famous composer Chopin and the obvious Napoleon Bonaparte. But one of the least conspicuous residents is Rin Tin Tin, yes, the canine cop. There's even an entire cemetery just dedicated to people's beloved dogs. The antithesis to Paris's historic buildings is its modern skyscrapers that are situated tastefully away from its touristic skyline. It's more of a business and financial district that lies outside the beaten path for most tourists, but it's still full of some incredible modern architecture and art installations. The Eiffel Tower is perhaps the most widely recognized structure on Paris's skyline, and it has been the poster child of postcards from practically the day it was built. It was constructed by Gustave Eiffel and is often referred to as his Iron Lady, not to be confused with the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor, which could be referred to as his Copper Lady. Many tourists think they're prepared to see the Eiffel Tower for the first time, but the lattice work of raw metal and the sheer height of this absolutely blows most people away for the first time. Another popular attraction in Paris is the Arc de Triomphe, which was completed all the way back in 1836. It was erected as a tribute to those who lost their lives fighting in the French Revolution as well as the Napoleonic Wars. The Arc set the tone for many other celebratory arches that have been constructed elsewhere around the world since then. Since its construction, it has been used as a rallying point for victorious French forces coming home from war, as well as occupying forces who wanted to celebrate taking control of the city. The Arc de Triomphe is the focal point of 12 streets that radiate from its traffic circle and point out into the city as a major thoroughfare. One of the biggest must-dos within the city of Paris is visiting the Louvre. It was formerly a French palace dating back to the 14th century, but the grandiose nobility of the French grew tired of it and moved on to bigger and better things. It later became an incredible art museum featuring collections from all around the world. No wonder the lines can be so famously long. It's the most visited art museum in the entire world, and by the way, if you take art seriously, plan on spending the entire day inside this place. No kidding. The Notre Dame Cathedral sits on an island in the middle of the River Seine, and is joined to both banks by short bridges. This architectural masterpiece has been standing for almost 700 years and is probably one of the most easily recognized buildings in the entire world. Its Gothic stained glass windows, audacious flying buttresses, and iconic gargoyles and grotesques have been illustrated in books for centuries before even the very first cameras were invented. It has been such an inspirational religious structure, and it still makes other houses of worship a little envious to this day. On the north end of the city, you'll find the Sacre Coure Basilica, also known as the Sacred Heart Basilica, which is actually a relatively new addition to the lineup, given that it wasn't completed until 1914. The consecration was actually delayed until 1919, after the end of World War I. It's built in an architectural style that blends in well with the city's other more historically aged buildings, and it's situated on top of a hill, which draws a lot of attention from visitors to the city. The last stop on our list is the Palais Garnier, which was completed in 1875. It holds almost 2,000 people and was built for the Paris Opera. It's often considered to be so opulent and influential that some people simply call it the Opera. But today it's mainly a venue for the Paris Ballet. This also happens to be where the fabled Phantom of the Opera fictionally took place. If you like more travel guides like these, be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube at Must Do Travels and click the bell for notifications for when we drop new videos in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching our Must Do Travels Paris Travel Guide. You can find more inspiration like this at club.mustdotravels, and be sure to sign up to get alerts and notification of our best travel deals around the world.